here with this thing. Okay, we are live on Twitch, YouTube, Facebook, and Rumble. I didn't know if Rumble was going to work, but that was like magic. All right, guys, everyone, hello, 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 hello. We're back for round two of this annoying topic. Duck is with us, of course. I believe he is in a safe spot for tonight. Last night we left off at the Wright Patterson and Roswell thread of this entire thing. Um, but before we lose it, me and Tuck was having a conversation about nuclear weapons and who had the first one. It was falling into that anyway. You can go ahead and start off with what you're talking about. You remember
So
the
in the Hinduism has the Bhagavad Gita. It's one of their many religious books, and from everything that I've looked into about it, about 5,000 years ago, the whole book is basically the moments leading up to the first nuclear battle between I don't between two. I can't remember the names of the civilizations, but Krishna was on one side and the other people were on the other side, and there was supposedly the first nuclear war. And places like the what is it, where 29 Palms is, that's the Mojave, right?
yeah. I know you're talking. You're talking about the books or the scrolls or well, whatever it is they call them things that they use over
Yeah,
there. The Sanskrits. Is it Sanskrits?
yeah, it's Sanskrit, yeah.
Okay, and you're talking about the ones that have the flying machines in it, right? Where they had the aerial battle.
You still there?
Yeah, I said you're talking about the ones that had the aerial battle, the flying ships and stuff in it, right?
um well, that was part of the battle, but the other part of the battle was, because as Christians, like, in that moment, before the first bombs land, that's basically what the whole book is about. Is like it dissects, like, it's basically not even a couple hours of the whole moment, but it
Yeah,
was
yeah, but
supposedly.
I mean, the reason I brought up that was because of the in the books they talk about those flying machines, and they say that these things are powered by silver liquid. Um,
Huh.
yeah, they're kind of like how the Nazis described, or how it was described that they were working on that thing they called it the Glock, which is means the bale in German, and basically inside it is this mercury device that has a counter rotation spindle that spins and creates this energy force, and it levitates or floats or causes time travel or some other weird wild wicked stuff. And a lot of people believe that's why we can't actually get mercury right now.
Mm-hmm. No, I- I'm listening. I'm dealing with the dog right now.
That's fine. But yeah, I mean that's I mean they were like really actively looking at their works, their I mean to utilize it. So I mean, it goes back to what we were saying. The the Germans were racing toward a nuclear weapon. America was racing toward a nuclear weapon. Other countries were, the Soviets heard about it. They were racing toward it. Um, Israel, I mean everybody, and they wanted to get their hands on it, and so they were tapping into all this ancient knowledge to figure out or find this thing. You know, the the core mechanics behind it, and try to figure out the physics for it. Because if people knew about the core mechanics and the physics behind it, then or the at least how it would happen or how it worked, then that means that it has happened at some other point in our history. So I mean, have you ever? I mean, you're talking about their culture. Have you taken a hard look at their culture? Like all the stuff they
Uh,
built and the temples and everything else, and like That place is full of mysteries and secrets and wild ass shit, man. Like I mean,
I've
there's this one temple that has these floating columns. You can literally slide a piece of paper under them, and they're just part of this big ass massive structure. I mean, people don't know how this stuff works.
Mm, yeah, as far as Hinduism, I had a monk teach me what he knew, and kind of like he was teaching more of the spiritual aspect of it, but that's about all I know about Hinduism. It's just what he taught me.
I mean, as far as it goes with Hinduism, I mean, I'm familiar with the bowls and a few of the rituals, and but I am no expert when it comes to that. I mean,
The
uh,
thing about Hinduism, at least from what I've learned, and the way that I think about spiritualism, is that there's a lot that's wrong about it, but the things that are right about it is it teaches you about harmonic resonance, because the whole universe operates on a frequency. And so when you take when you chant with that specific frequency, in a way you're manipulating the universe to do the things that you want. That's kind of like where the law of attraction and stuff like that, or the first ideas of the law of attraction really begin. It's just it teaches you the harmonic resonance that the universe operates on.
there seems to be a lot of cultures or a lot of groups of people. I won't want to say cultures because I mean this is more like a modern day phenomenon that they try to game that system. Um, One are rappers. I don't don't want to single them out, but they're the ones I've seen do it so far. They're talking about using harmonics and stuff like that to manifest things. Have you heard about that? Where people are saying that if they think about something hard enough, they can manifest things.
Yeah, it happened to me today.
Okay, are you talking about
I
with
know how to do it. It's a state of being and a way of thinking, but the average person lacks the self confidence and the clarity and the self awareness to be able to do it. It's not like something that you can just turn on and turn off. Just like when you learn a trade, you got to learn the skill set to go along with it. But yeah, like the everything that happened today, I was thinking about I wanted it today, and it happened.
I mean, now I called a portion of your live stream. I mean, I was going back and forth. I was running around with
Hmm.
the kids and stuff, and someone had asked you about UFOs if you ever saw one. I mean,
Hmm.
do you believe in them? Do you think they're there? You think they exist? Do you think there's something else, or is there any?
I don't I don't need to believe in them. I know that they exist, and even based upon what is it, the Blake theory, there's approximately 40 million inhabited planets within this universe because of how vast it is based upon the law of averages. Some of them are more advanced, some of them are less advanced, and some of them are at our stage. But we're all in various stages. And that's why I think that, dinosaurs is a stage of evolution for a planet, because some of the stuff that I've read from people that have claimed to go and look at other planets, depending upon what age the planet is and stuff like that, is what kind of life it has. And I think that humans are the final stage of evolution for any living planet. And because just like when you get old and you go into a nursing home and you need someone to take care of you, that is what humanity's purpose within nature. That's why the planet evolved to have human beings, is to maintain and care for it in its final years.
Huh? So are you saying the Earth is in its final years?
Yeah, I mean, our sun is dying. There's a reason why a lot of travelers came to this planet and they were hiding, although at one point in time it may have been a prison planet. Also, there's been those that have been fleeing that have come here because anybody that's hunting them down, they're not going to be looking in a dying solar system.
What do you think about Apophis?
What do you mean?
Apophis is an asteroid that's supposed to.
I know what it is.
Okay, I mean, do you think it's going to hit us?
2032.
No, 2027.
No, it's going to pass by us the first time. It's going to hit us the second time.
I don't know. Have you seen the new track? Have you seen that they changed it? Now see, now the reason I'm bringing that up, it actually ties in with the mess we have been working on. I knew there would be a piece in there. But the people are now saying, smart people, I guess you'd say, or people who think they're smart. But anyway, they believe that the reason, like, they take all of these things that these scientists are part of. We have one that was literally in charge of like asteroid deflection, studying asteroids and planets. He was, and of course, this coleallen guy. He was designed a system that was supposed to use AI for planets and stuff like that. I mean, but this other guy, the one that got killed, he literally, the one I'm talking about. The death is so mysterious. They ruled it as a S side, but how they found him, they claim he tied a rope around his neck and hooked it to a tree and drove his car forward.
Huh.
And pulled it off of his shoulders. And they claim that as a S side. So, yeah, I don't know. But,
hey, if you're determined.
Huh?
If you're determined.
Well, yeah, if you're determined, but I mean, that's some determination right there. I can think of a whole bunch of other ways to go, and especially if you're a friggin' scientist, man. Maybe you got it in your head that'd be the easiest way to do it. I don't know. I mean,
as someone who's been through that stage, I had to do a lot of research and understand how many different survival reactions or instincts that your body has that you cannot override. And if you learn how to circumvent it, like for me, I put the bag over my head, wait till I was getting to a point where I was going to start pulling on it.
I know, but I mean, all right. I mean, but let's think about it this way. This guy would have had to broke out his back window of his vehicle. Okay, he would have had to, tied a big thick rope around a tree. He would passed it through and coiled it up in the back seat. He would have, put it around his neck. He would have had to remove and I'm just giving you the description of what I was told. He removed the head visor. So as he got in the driver's seat, then he put it around his head. And he had to make sure he had enough room to do this in the right place. And he had to consciously turn the key on, press the gas down, accelerate, and do this. Now,
well, yeah, the acceleration's what overruled all of the survival instincts. If I was going to do something like that, that would have been. I find that to be a smart move. I mean, I'd do something like that in a heartbeat if I had the resources. Yeah, he was smart about it. But the question is,
do you believe that? I mean, so now that's not an uncommon thing. A lot of people within the government, when they off themselves, that kind of happens. That situation or scenarios like that. But a lot of researchers and a lot of people think that those would be some of the easiest things to cover up.
Possibly.
I mean, you got, you pick a spot, you set the thing up, you have them out there, you put them in there. I mean, you literally can, tie the guy's hands and everything else, and you can put like a rock or something or cement on the gas pedal, make it happen. Car stops, go over there, grab the rock, clean up any mess you need to that might have your DNA on it, walk off, and you have a suicide.
That's possible too.
I mean, this is like classic MK Ultra type mechanics that they used to use that are like in the field manual. I mean, I just don't know. But anyway, like I said,
Oh,
this guy was really really smart. And this is the guy that would have been in charge of the whole Apophis thing.
mm,
And so a lot of people are thinking that maybe there's something about Apophis we don't understand. I mean, it's not a solid rock. Somehow, see, that's the other thing too. There's a lot about the universe that we're just now beginning to understand, which is hard for me to even wrap my head around because we're here, we have all these technologies. Well, at least the public is understanding. I mean, and this goes back to the things that the encounters we had here recently. Oumuamua and Three Eye Atlas. Three Eye Atlas was just a bizarre thing, and every scientist on the planet is now saying Oumuamua was an actual. Um, these are things that were not from our solar system, and Oumuamua for sure was something that was being artificially propelled. Um, how Three Eye Atlas was being propelled is like just amazes everybody. I
well,
mean,
just think of it this way. Okay, so I'm pulling from Meyer on this, but think of it this way. Um, the universe in a lot of ways is like a DNA, the DNA spiral. Okay, and so where a planet is, if it explodes, then it can send things down. Like if the Earth were to explode, the amount of damage that it would do to inhabited planets throughout the universe because of where we stand could be very destructive. We could take out, let's say, 5 to 10 planets around just from the debris of the explosion, especially if it goes out of orbit and goes into its own orbit.
maybe. I mean, I'm not. I think if the Earth was just to suddenly, disassemble, I mean, I don't think that we would knock the moon out. We would do some other things, but just based on the way things are, I'm pretty sure that our rubble will basically form, a ring around, either part of the asteroid belt, or we will form a ring around Venus or Mars, or be consumed by the sun. I mean, that is, you know, I used to think something like that, and I got to looking at how this could happen, and we run the physics.
Mhm.
One of the cool things my kids have gotten into, or kids, well, kid have gotten into, is they run these physics programs, and they had worked on some and made some, but they can take and simulate the environment of the universe, you know, and watch it and introduce things and make things happen. And it seems like one of the things that a lot of the kids like to do is blow up planets, um, to see what happens, see how the universe changes. That's something that never crossed my mind as a kid, but it seems to be something a lot of kids now think about, which is odd, I guess, now that I
I
think
think
about it.
that that's part of the sickness of society.
Yeah, but anyway, like I said, they find it fascinating. They find the physics behind it fascinating,
Mhm.
and how these physics and how these objects will interact with other things. And it goes back to that three body problem. I don't know if you remember me talking about it. That's the thing. That's you know one of the reasons why we don't go flying off into space somewhere is because you know we have the sun, the Earth, and the moon, and as we move around the sun, the moon tugs on us a little bit, and the sun tugs on us a little bit, and that keeps us in line. Now, the reason we were worried about that is because as we go around, Jupiter and some of the other bigger planets tug on us a little bit occasionally, and
Mhm.
eventually they will tug on us enough to cause us to come out of our orbit, and then something like that could happen. We might go crashing into Saturn, or we might go crashing into Jupiter, and Jupiter might have enough mass to become a star. Um,
I want to before I forget it. So we were talking about you were talking about a planet exploding and becoming something like our asteroid belt. I interviewed a guy. His name is One Who Studies. He is very knowledgeable. Like he's read everything Meyer and da da da. Very smart guy. I actually interviewed him. He wrote an article. It's actually one of my favorite articles. And when I found out that he was the one that wrote it, I was so excited to be able to meet him because, like, it was a damn good article. And I've got a link for it in that video. It's called "From the Stars to Mars,"
from the
and it
stars
talks
and Mars.
about how, as a civilization, there was some stuff that happened, and they went to Mars. The destroyer planet comes by to rip off the atmosphere, and so they go to two planets, one called Malona, the other one called Earth. And the people on Malona were so warlike that they ended up heating up the core of the planet, causing it to explode, and that's what created our asteroid belt.
Oh, that's interesting. I will remind me, and I will go check him out. I go. I mean, I may have read it. I may have already read it. I don't know. I have to look at it and see and kind of think about it.
And one more thing about, so Meyer, I think, is one of the first people to ever even mention the red planet Apophis. And he, I think, as early as like 20 years ago, he started warning us about it before even scientists saw it on the radar. Was it like 10 years ago?
But I mean, he's warned of a planet, though. I'm talking about an asteroid.
No, no, no. He's called it's well, Apophis is a red. Well, they call it a red planet, but it's an asteroid. And he says it'll come by the Earth twice. And as of most recently, he said it will miss us in 2027 and it'll hit us in 2032 in the second pass. And it will land around the English Channel and all of Europe will be engulfed in fire.
If we're here, um,
Well, we're
maybe.
going to be here.
I don't know. I mean,
We're going to be here thousands of years into the future. Humanity is going to be brought to its knees, but we're not going to die off. There will be pockets of us that survive.
what I mean by that, I'm talking about a functional version of society that actually remembers any of this. I mean, you got to. I mean, like you got to think about it in the sense, human race will survive. Sure, absolutely, 100%. We'll go underground. We've done it before. But will the human race survive as we know it now? I do not think so. I mean,
Well,
I don't think that our the society that we know right now currently, the what do you want to call it? Like Babylon and stuff like that. They use
mhm.
clay tablets. They use things like that to record their bits and pieces of their history, and we still don't know everything about it. I mean, and the reason for that is because time. There's a point in human history there where people didn't record anything, and it's because they didn't know how. They
Mm.
forgot how, and I
I
mean
think
that's going to happen to us one day.
I think Plato's Atlantis is a perfect example of that. How many of us know about Atlantis if it wasn't for Plato? If Plato hadn't have done that one sentence in his whole story, we wouldn't even know that Atlantis even existed. So
Absolutely,
that in a time was the most advanced society it ever been. It's way more advanced than we are now. And I think that what happens is society starts on a causation chain. And once we reach the end of that causation chain and we get an answer of this was good, this was bad, and we kind of figure some things out, there becomes that collective knowledge that's stored in the collective consciousness. Then we have to start over from scratch in the way that, the parable of the wild olive branches. You just got to burn the whole thing down and let fresh olive branches or olive trees go up and repopulate. And I think that when we go into near extinction events, that is okay, we have reached the end of this causation chain and what it's actually going to do. And this causation chain started, let's say, 10,000 years ago, because that was the last time we had a near extinction level event according to archaeologists. um and so, I mean, it's very plausible. I don't know whether it's true or not, but based upon deductive reasoning, it seems like that's where we would go.
I mean, it is very much possible, but I think that maybe societies evolve kind of like humans evolve in a way, maybe sort of like okay, you have you have these evolutions of society, and I mean, if you look at you got bits and pieces, and people confuse and confound things, kind of like what happened in the Bible. And you take all that, and you take everything else, and you start mixing everything up, and you notice that there's been these different versions of society, and different catastrophes, and one we know of absolutely 100%. There was a flood. We know there was a flood of some kind. We can call it biblical, but there was a flood.
It's been
Um,
a couple of them.
yeah, that's what I'm saying is, and if you go through history and you look and you go through the culture, and when I mean history, I mean culture. You go through different culture, you can see that they even have their own versions of Noah. So, you have these people who experience the same situation, the same thing, whatever, and they go through this, and they experience this. So, I mean, I think that we may have, had a catastrophic event over and over again, and it's just something that happens to us to keep us from getting to that point. And our technology, our buildings, cars, everything. If something happens, it's gone. It's you might have bits and pieces of it left, just like we find other stuff. And what portion of humanity survives is what went underground or wherever.
I think that AI is kind of like a perfect lesson for this. We're developing AI, and we start to see that it's doing its own thing. Well, now that we see that mistake, we've got to kind of wipe it out as best we can, and start over so that we can fix that glitch that we built in there, because we don't know where it was built into the code. It just evolved into that,
You see,
and I think that
I
this
think that
is.
see when it comes to AI, I mean, I'm not like 100% hard pressed against it, and the reason that I'm not is because I think that AI itself is beneficial to some degree. You have a accumulation or a combination of you know a massive amount of human intelligence right there, and you have the ability to access it when something like this happens, and maybe it can help us figure out how to fix it. That being said, what I do hate overall is the internet and cell phones and stuff like that, where they've become so popular and everything else. Because if something does happen to us, you know, that stuff's going to be gone. No one's going to be able to turn on a hard drive in 200 years. No one's going to be able to, access an SSD. I mean, I got USB drives that don't work anymore that set in a drawer for 10 years. I
Yeah, but
mean,
imagine the archaeologist 200 years from now.
I know, but what I'm saying is they might get lucky and find you know, some asshole that wrote some shit down like I did. But I mean, some of the stuff I wrote down was, stuff that I was just writing, and I mean, that goes for, people like Stephen King, and Lord knows what they will think about our society when they actually do see this stuff.
It'll be the Dead Sea Scrolls all over again.
Yeah, and I mean, they'll build a religion around it. I mean, it's that's what we can kind of expect to happen, and that's probably what happened to us.
Yeah, which shows the glitch in the way in which we perceive information. But what if, over time, there were visitors, celestial sons that came by, and they took the most educated people and kind of tried to share with them a little bit of the knowledge of what's going on in the universe around them, so that that they could, continue on, and instead of taking that knowledge and using it to benefit society, they use that knowledge to benefit themselves and to control men, because he who has the knowledge has the power. And so therefore, that is the continuous problem that we're trying to overcome, which is the human ego and the continuous quest for power.
I mean, that's deep. Man, all that shit's deep. That's deep. That's deep. All right.
You
Where are we
okay?
at here? Come on, this feels like a freaking milkshake. We're supposed to be talking about freaking Roswell. We're way over here. We've got one line into this devil project. I swear to God. Um. All right. Let's see. There's something else I want to talk about too.
Up here. I'm listening.
Oh, okay. I thought someone was talking to you. Heard.
No, I was talking to the dog. She's getting unruly.
Okay. Well, I mean, you know about Roswell. Roswell is or you know about Wright Patterson, Roswell. Wright
Mm.
Patterson is where they kept all of the alien stuff from Roswell, supposedly. And then it goes back to what we were talking about. If you believe in UFOs, you believe in this, kinda. I mean, was it a weather balloon? I don't think so.
Can we define belief? Because just the word belief is a presumption of facts. We don't have to presume, these are facts, so we don't need to believe it because it's fact.
Well, no.
We know that Roswell
There
happened.
goes there. See, belief is a categorization of things you see. Now, if you believe something and you see it, if it falls from the sky in front of you as you're on the trail, and you know what it is. Now, if you don't believe in it, then you're not going to think that that's what that is. You're going to think that that's something else. So, I mean, that's what I'm saying is, if you saw something fall out of the sky, or you and it doesn't look like anything you've ever seen before in your life, and it doesn't look man-made, are you going to go to man-made, or are you going to go to alien?
I'm going to see it for what it is and not care because it's in front of me.
Well,
Or care if
I
it's
know,
man-made or
but
alien. It's in front of me.
I'm saying you have to look at it. I mean, you don't have to. I guess I look at people differently, and I say you have to look. I don't mean it like that. I
Mhm.
mean, we try to look at. Some of us try to look at things scientifically when we see certain things. We try to say, okay, well, this is, you know, we could have done this. This might be ours. Create a risk assessment. Um, and that's kind of how I've handled things in the past. I see something, I'm looking at it. I create a risk assessment based on, is this something that I would commonly find? Is this something I would commonly encounter? Is this something that I shouldn't be around? And people have that kind of built into them. Like,
Yeah.
if you're walking up, let's say you're out and about and you're walking up on something and there's a lake giving off heat, you're going to have qualms about going over there and sticking your foot in. Um, it may not be water. I'm just saying is, there's little things there, but I mean, I don't really know. I don't want to use belief or explain belief as like in the sense of a biblical sense. I don't want to say. Um,
But
so,
that's where the word comes from, isn't it?
well, yeah, but I mean, I'm using it. I'm using it a little loosely, I guess. I mean, what I'm saying is, when you believe, do you believe that it's possible? Is something like that possible? Like,
Is it possible?
yeah, is it possible? Is it something that could, you know,
I mean, the sky could turn pink tomorrow. It's possible.
huh?
I said the sky could turn pink tomorrow. Anything's possible.
Then it's possible. Then you can have a belief in it.
No, it doesn't require a belief, because the thing is you've got facts and then you've got fiction. If you believe something, that means you're presuming something to be a fact. because you're not able to prove it or whatever it may be. Versus, when you sit there and go, okay, I know this is the way,
No, no,
I know
I'm
that
not
the
saying
universe
you
has endless
know.
possibilities. I
I'm
don't
just
need to
saying,
believe because I know.
kind of like your first definition. I mean, that's the way I'm not saying that this is the way. This is like how this is, or anything like that. It's open to interpretation. The fact that you believe something is possible. That I don't know. That's a hard topic. I think I need to think about that.
Yeah, I go round and round with lots of people about it because it's like we're so ingrained with certain terminology, but we were talking about like the law of attraction or being able to have things come to you. You got to realize that words are more powerful than just the meanings we give them because they have ancient meanings, ancient understandings. Kind of like the what we call the peace symbol was in the 1950s. They called it what it really was, which was the sign. It's the sign for death to man, and they were doing it during the nuclear non-proliferation marches in the 1950s, saying that if we had a nuclear war, it would be death to man. And then all of a sudden in the 60s, they're like, it means peace, man. Well, this is an ancient pagan symbol that has an original meaning, and just because we want to redefine it, doesn't make the redefinition fact. It's kind of like trying to change the dates
Yeah,
to
but I
fit your
mean,
narrative.
you're attaching a definition to a. I mean, it's the same way with the swastika. The swastika was originally a thing about peace, and then it got malingered. I mean, but I mean, it's yeah. I mean, I get what you're saying when it comes to that. And now,
Yeah,
chat.
and
Somebody in chat. I hope they're still there. We were rambling on here. Someone asked, "Who is the Antichrist?"
um, interesting. And I'm only saying this just because I've read it because I was curious about it. According to Meyer, based upon numerology, 666 actually translate to God Pope Church.
Who?
God Pope Church. That's what the numerology of 666 is supposed. Now, I can't find anything to back it up. I don't know if it's fact or not. Like I said, I just read it.
Now,
There's I don't know whether it's true or not.
how much of the Antichrist stuff have you been following to any degree? Not much, probably.
Well, when I was really heavy into religion,
I'm talking recent.
recent,
Yes.
um, I might catch a thing on it just to see what somebody's saying, and then I laugh at them.
Now there is an individual. He just got arrested. Um, I don't know his name, but anyway, he lines up with all the points in the Bible that refer to as the Antichrist. Um, he's got followers, legitimate followers, and they claim that he can bring people back to life, make their spirits show up, and there's a whole thing on it. I'll send you a link on it if you're interested in it. They have him where they did an interview with him. Um, the dude is genuinely. I don't know if I should laugh at him or I should be worried. But and then you got people, on the liberal side that believe that Donald Trump is the Antichrist. Um,
Well,
and
well,
and then and then you have people. Do you know who Peter Thiel is? Peter.
Peter
What's
Thiel,
yes. They
isn't he in the political realm?
he is.
Or wasn't he like wasn't he caught up in the Epstein stuff?
He's all over the place. Now
He was like a Harvard something or other, wasn't he?
he's the
It's like a professor
he's the
or a
co-founder
dean.
of PayPal and Palatine. And
Oh, okay.
yeah,
Oh,
he's
I know. Okay, now I know who you're
you
talking
know
about.
apparently he had a
The
deep
guy jumping out of his seat.
yeah he had a deep interest in the apocalyptic concept of the Antichrist, and one
Hmm.
of the reasons why a lot of people believe he is for one of the specific reasons is that suddenly this man who has no biblical background has come up with his own lecture. And I mean, it's actually become popular. And now he's headed to, people are making him go to or Silicon Valley's making him go to the Vatican and give his speech on the Antichrist. And like,
Wow.
yeah, so Peter, like this guy is, this guy, yeah, full on evil.
I
But
mean,
there's a lot of people who think, there'd be people around. Okay, you'd have the Antichrist, and then you'd have what was it? How many? Yeah, Obama was supposed to be the Antichrist too. I know, but it.
everybody's the Antichrist.
But how does it set up? Is it okay? You're supposed to have the Antichrist. You're supposed to have the You're supposed to have three people. You're supposed to have the Antichrist. You're supposed to have. It's not the agents. Well, anyway, so
The Four Horsemen?
no, not forward. You're supposed to have these people around the Antichrist, um, that are supposed to like influence and help the Antichrist. The false prophet, the Antichrist, the false witness. I think it's called.
I think that would be David Icke, honestly. If you know his history and how he got laughed off a stage before he got in the whole reptilian kick, I think if anybody would fall in that line, it would be David Icke.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure I'm going to agree with you, but yeah, I do dislike the man a lot. I mean,
Well,
I
you know
have
what
for a
happened to him
very,
in the
very
70s,
long
right?
time. Uh,
You know what happened to him in the 70s, right?
no.
So he was on something like Australia Today or something like that. It was like a Good Morning show. And he was trying to convince people that he was the second coming of Jesus Christ.
Really?
And when people laughed him off the stage, years later, he comes back and he gets in some of this other stuff. And then he starts doing the whole reptilian thing. And everybody forgot about the fact that he called himself Jesus Christ himself.
I think people who actually, I think if Jesus come back, he wouldn't make himself known like that. I mean, if that was the case, if that was what's going to happen, I don't think he would make himself known. And here's why I say that is because I mean I even know somebody that claimed to be Jesus at some point in their life. They had a breakdown. They had a breakdown. He had the long hair and everything else, and he dressed the part. And he would walk around through town like he was Jesus. Um,
Sounds like the Baron of San Francisco.
yeah, I mean, there's people who are like that. There are stable people who are like that. They go through some kind of traumatic event and they flip the fuck out. And I mean, who knows? One day I might think it. I don't know. I hope not. I really don't want to walk around that much. But I mean, it not anymore. But I'm just saying is, there's people who think that, and there's people who believe that. And I guess if that's how you need to, let off that energy and that steam, then maybe that's a good thing. Or a bad
Uh,
thing. I don't know.
I've actually met Ginger Jesus.
Ginger Jesus, yeah.
Yeah, it was a guy. He was Muslim and he was wearing like the whole white garb and he had the long beard and everything. I'm like, dude, you look kind of strange. He's like, yeah, people just call me Ginger Jesus.
But yeah, I mean, you can go on Google and you can type in. I did it while we were talking. You can type in who is the Antichrist. And like I said, you got Donald Trump, you got that other guy. Um, you have videos of fucking Tucker Carlson talking about, is Trump the Antichrist? Is he mocking Jesus? You have you have stories. I mean, these are from legitimate sources. I mean, when I say that, I mean these are sources that people go to get their news. Actually go and get their news. You got Greta Thunberg is she the Antichrist? I mean, it's bizarre how we look at the whole Antichrist bit, and it's also bizarre how other countries look at how we perceive the Antichrist, and I think that is something that if you're a follower of the Bible or anything really, you should take a moment and you should see how other cultures perceive how and who the Antichrist is, because there is something you will learn really, really quick. If you go to China and you look at who the Antichrist is, and you go to Russia and you look at who the Antichrist is, and how they describe that, you will find that in each culture that is dictated by either one section or one subsection of whatever church is running the town, um, that church has probably been influenced by the government, and they're making you think a certain way. Um, so who knows? To be honest with you, who knows what we're supposed to think? Um,
Man, you mind if I give my opinion on what the Antichrist is?
sure, you go right ahead. I mean, I personally, before I'm going to run and check on something real quick, maybe have a cigarette.
Hmm.
But I honestly, I can still hear you over there. I mean,
Yeah.
I personally think the Antichrist in itself is a concept or fact, or like it's a plot device to describe evil, to describe
Go
bad
ahead if you
things.
want. Oh,
Yeah.
okay, cool. If she gets in your face, just push her off, or you can pet her, whatever.
But go ahead, you're good, and you can go ahead and tell people what you need if you want to tell me anything. I'll be
Okay.
back.
So the whole premise, if you look at how the Eastern world looked at Christ and like what he was teaching, it's very common for them to say that he was teaching the law of love. And so if you look at what Christ taught, he taught love, peace, compassion, forgiveness, tolerance, and if you really want to get down to it, ethics. And so anything that goes against what he taught automatically makes you the Antichrist. Now, there's a maxim in law that says that the created is subject to the creator. Okay, so that means the life that you have comes from your creator. So your creator is the only one that can take your life. And so you have religions that have continuously tried to tell you that, yeah, you shall not, take a life, but then they justify it in certain other ways, like how the church justifies, soldiers going off to war and stuff like that. So anything that contradicts what Christ was teaching, which is the law of love, um, and also, it goes against the very foundational principles of the created is subject to its creator, is an antichrist. So the real thing is you got to look and see who's at the top pulling the strings. And you could say it's secret societies, you could say all kinds of different things, but it doesn't necessarily mean that it is does not necessarily mean that like Donald Trump is the antichrist, because who's pulling his strings, who's pulling somebody, who's pulling the strings, because the person at the top that's forcing the genocides, that's forcing the wars for their own personal profit gain, power and control, that would be the person that you would probably say is the closest thing to the antichrist. But I agree with you that the Antichrist is something along the lines of more of an idea of something that is supposed to be super evil, the most evil of all evils. Best word I've heard to explain it is called Gewalt. Um, and it's a German word. I don't know exactly what it translates to, but that's supposed to be the most evil of the evils. It's anti-creation, anti-God. Okay, and so the people that are perpetuating that themselves are the antichrist. Now, if they're part of a specific group, then you could sit there and point to that group as being the antichrist. Like, let's say, look at all the bad history that the Catholic Church, and then Christianity by association has with the things in which they've done, including creating mass genocides, being militant, especially in its early years, and things like that. You could very easily say, well, that's completely against the teachings of Christ. Therefore, religion itself is the Antichrist
But
because it perverted the original teachings.
well, I mean, and it's kind of you slide in here, but I mean, it's kind of the way how people look and see the idea of the Antichrist. I mean, I even just went in there and asked my old lady. I said, "Who do you think the Antichrist is?" And he's like, "I don't know." He's like, "I said, just spit out an answer." And she, first she said Trump, and then as I went to go smoke, she hollered out Putin. Now, a lot of people will go right to the political, and then there's an older subset that will go toward like the Vatican, like you did, like you like, they're like the Pope, and it's how we have been mentally trained to think about who that individual is. And if you remember, I was talking about Freemasonry. Freemasonry, there are three veils, and this is the same way with Rosicrucians. This is the same way with Skull and Bones. This is the same way with the Bohemian Society. There are these three veils, and the first veil is an illusion. The second veil is a partial truth, and then you pull back the third one and you see the truth. And in Freemasonry, after you become a 33rd degree and you pull back that last curtain, and this is in every temple, there is a model of the Ark of the Covenant back there. And there's a reason.
What was the covenant?
Well, see, that's the idea that they think it's a symbolic thing, and a lot of people do think it's symbolic. I mean, it may have a physical origin, but I mean, it still may be symbolic, or maybe the Ark of the Covenant itself. When you start jumping in that rabbit hole, the Templars actually thought that the Ark of the Covenant was a alien weapon or nuclear device.
I'm in that boat.
The nuclear device or alien weapon?
Alien weapon. I don't know if it's a nuclear device, but I would think of it to be kind of like God gives you the knife that will take out his Achilles tendon. So it's a way to balance power so that God doesn't take his wrath out without consequence.
Well, I mean, if you think about how it was built, and you think about how people had to carry it, and you think about how heavy this thing was, I mean, yeah, I mean, it could be something like that. Or it could be something that emitted, some type of radiation or some type of, maybe an element we don't understand. Because, and the reason I say that, when we get into that rabbit hole, I mean, and it's a big rabbit hole, but we'll touch base on it. The Israel Jews, like anything, like their temples, and this is included with the Vatican. Yeah, some people think it is a capacitor, but this is what the Vatican. This is with Catholics. This is with the Jews, and this is, I think Protestants kind of dropped this, Baptists dropped this. But anyway, like anything, part of the temple, part of the church, the altar, it had to have been built out of stone that was not touched by, like hammers and stuff like that. I mean, it could, tools, sharp objects and things. And like even the altar stones the Catholics used to use. Now they don't use them anymore. I mean, I have one here, but the altar stones, the center stones was always made out of something that was chipped off with another rock. And I mean, people got really good at making these things, and that's an art that's been lost. Well, here it has. It's not been lost in Israel because they still do it there. But there's stories in Israel that God gave them this creature. It's described.
You're talking about the mud creature, whatever it's named.
No. That's different. This is something like a snake. They keep it in a box, and it was stolen, lost, and then there was a war, and they took it, and then it was reclaimed back. I mean, there's a lot of history when it comes to this. So I mean, there's a lot of reference to this, more so than like fantasy and speculation. So there's a lot written about this creature, and we don't know what it is. But anyway, apparently this creature can focus this energy and cut stone, and this is how they made temples and things.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a lot of belief that a lot of stuff that they had back then is extinct now. And it does make sense. I mean, if you go back and look in the record, there are, even in the UK and early parts of England, people made these trips to go get these dragons that supposedly could spit fire, and that used to be like, people thought it was just funny or comical or whatever. They didn't really believe in it. And of course, there's some people like us that might think, okay, well, dragons might actually have been real. And there was this lady and her daughter, and they were on one of those, Caribbean cruise things. And have you ever been on one, or do you know about them? Where they stop at the different islands and shit, and you can go out there.
No, I've never been on a cruise. I'm not that rich.
Well, I'm not either, but I do know about them. I have a lot of friends and stuff that like to get on them, and I'm just don't like the boat thing anymore. Anyway, you can get on the Caribbean cruises, and you can go around, and they'll go to different islands, and these are uninhabited islands. They might have like a bar or something out there that's like a pop-up thing that becomes activated when a cruise ship comes in. But anyway, they have their own wildlife and stuff like that on these islands, and they normally spend like 6 or 7 hours out there. Anyway, this woman and her daughter was out there on the beach. It was around dark, and the little girl's chasing around these lizards. They look like common lizards, and all of a sudden, one of them blows fire.
Okay.
And then another one, there's a puff of smoke, and then another one, there's some grass beside it that catches fire. Well, the little girl has it on video, and apparently scientists are saying that this is they didn't know it was possible, but apparently this is possible, and that there's actually these lizards that can breathe fire. It's like some kind of chemical reaction in their belly, and that's what happens, or something. Like a new species or something. I mean, it just goes to show you that we don't know what's all out there, and that some of the stuff within the record might actually be true. Another version of it, or the de-evolution of it, or whatever. But I'm just saying is that even if some of the information has been exaggerated or whatever, the information is there.
I'm listening.
Oh, you're fine. I didn't know if you got to take care of something there.
No, I'm good.
Let's see what. You go ahead.
But there's on this island there are lizards that spit smoke, is what you're saying?
They spit fire.
Here's the tobacco I use. Try it. Called Blue.
Do what?
You want to try this one? Yeah, I'm listening.
No, I've tried them.
Oh, sorry. I'm listening, and I got a couple of things going on. Sorry, I really am listening. So keep going.
But yeah, they spit fire. I mean, it's I'm sure there'll be the pet store near you one day. But I'm saying is that there's a lot of weird stuff. When it comes to that new species, and we're also seeing since we're on the subject about critters and whatnot, I do want to bring up that a lot of animals. We the other day we spoke about the chimpanzees and the monkeys and stuff. Basically acting like militaries and patrolling and taking out the other parties and having their own versions of civil wars and shit. Now, for some reason, there's monkeys and this happened in Germany. Uh, that they were it was the Germany Max Planck Institute for Animal Behavior made a baffling discovery on the Jarcan Island in Panama. They observed a white-faced monkey kidnapping the infants of other species for no apparent reason. Um,
Why? What's the advantage in doing that other than indoctrination?
indoctrination. Yeah, I mean that would be the only. I mean, researchers are still unable to explain the behavior and speculate the parental instincts is maybe misdirected or leading them to adopt a younger of another species. But I mean, there are cases within our historical record where, um, I mean, how do you think we got the thing from Tarzan? I mean, the idea concept from Tarzan. There's wolves that have adopted children. There's monkeys and apes and stuff like that have adopted humans. Um, it's not uncommon, but it wasn't verified.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, that seems to be going on. Like they want to either be a part of our society or they want to teach us something. I'm still on the run about that, but yeah, there's some weird stuff going on with animals here from what I'm reading. Service
But
lions at huh? Go ahead.
have you heard what Edgar Casey? Because I've been doing a lot of research so I can be a better dog owner with Sam,
Uh huh.
because I suck. And I was actually listening to something that Edgar Casey said. And one of the things that Edgar Casey was saying is that, dogs are put here, like a dog chooses you because it has to teach you a lesson. It's part of the lesson and the evolution that you take when you are um, when when you're in this lifetime. And so, like, the Edgar Casey was also part of the reincarnation rebirth ideology. He didn't believe in like one life and that was it. So through all the stuff that he did. So, like Sam is here to teach me patience and love, because that's the two things. Love I might have, but patience I don't. And so, like, I struggle with it, and because of her being such a social creature, it forces me to learn patience. Otherwise, I'm gonna end up making an ass of myself. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, when it comes to that way of thinking, that's a great way of thinking, and I think that other people should adopt that when it comes to animals. But on the subject about Edgar Casey, I believe Edgar Casey was a very special kind of person. And what I mean by that is Edgar Casey, I believe he didn't know he did it. Now, I believe he practiced a type of psychoanalysis or psychology that we don't practice today. Somehow he picked up on it. Somehow he could see it. Somehow he could do it. Um,
I
he has some wonderful insight. I mean, I have stacks of his books and papers and things here, and I mean, you can go and you can look at that stuff, and you can. I mean, like this story that we're in here that we can't seem to get through. That I mean, you can get into Edgar Casey, and you can get stuck and stuck and stuck and stuck, and yeah, I mean he is a interesting historical figure.
Okay, so my great uncle, he was in the remote viewing project. And, he was telling me like how to be able to do a meditation and how to be able to have an out of body experience. Okay, and then I'm going to tell you what the Buddhist monk or the Hindu monk told me after I tell this story. But
Well,
essentially,
real quick, before you jump into
yeah,
that, and real short, how did you get hooked up with the Buddhist monk?
traveler.
Okay, all right, go ahead and go ahead, your grandpa.
I'm a traveler. I meet all kinds of people in all kinds of walks of life. I've met kingpins all the way to alphabet agency, working in the field. Okay, I've met them
I
all.
thought maybe you may have like stumbled in like one of those. I mean, I mean, like when I was out there, and I mean, I stumbled in like one of them. I don't know if you've ever been to one, but they have these like little. Um, I've been in a nunnery. I've been into uh, a place. What is it? The monks live. The shit.
A monastery.
What?
Yes, he actually he claimed to be of the Dugan family, which I think which was the rightful rulers um of Scotland in exile. And so like when they were trying to take out his whole family so that they didn't have any power. I mean, why Bloody Mary is Bloody Mary.
Uh,
Um, and Scottish version of it. And so, his family, put him over in Asia because that was a place to where he could, be the most and be safest. And so he was raised Buddhist, but he couldn't get over his anger, and so he ends up coming across a Hinduism, and so he goes and does a monk. Does monking with them or whatever it is that he does, and like when I met him, he was just a little bit older than you, and I was in God. This was what, 15 years ago. You still there?
I'm here. I'm listening.
Okay, so back to the story. So my great uncle was completely baffled by the fact that it only took me 3 tries to have my first out of body experience. But the thing is, I wasn't prepared for it psychologically, emotionally, and I was still stuck in like Christendom. So something like that was more traumatic for me than if I wasn't exposed to Christianity. I was allowed to have my curiosity. Um, and so like I think that Edgar Casey in a lot of ways kind of just it's a natural talent. So whatever you learn in a past life carries over into the next life as far as like learn knowledge. I think that's the reason why I know knots as well as I do, even though you can show me how to do a knot, I can't do it. But if I need to do a knot, I know how to do quite a few knots, and nobody's ever showed me how to do a knot. I've really never seen pictures or anything else like that. Okay, but you do carry some compound knowledge from your previous life into your current life, in some way. And so maybe he had his curiosity or something else along those lines was very beneficial to him to where he was able to allow his curiosity to go out and explore. Now, part of the reason why he had an early expiration, and this is what the monk taught me, and I actually experienced it, is it is phenomenal when you go through it. You can't put words on it. It was like, okay, so what Edgar Casey and what a lot of the military was being taught was to go out your belly button. That's what I was being taught, was to go out your belly button. I was actually attached to my spirit through an umbilical cord, looking down at myself. That's what freaked me out. Okay, the fact that I was looking at myself without myself, but within myself. I guess you call it a paradox.
Yeah, that sounds like an acid trip to me. Almost.
Yes. So anyway, so I did it. It took me 3 times. He was completely baffled. But you're not supposed to go through there. It actually causes health problems and all kinds of other stuff. You're supposed to go through the top of your head. That's why it's soft. And so when I was shown how to go through the top of my head, because I can do astral projection. I've done it in the past. I don't do it anymore.
Sorry, have
But
that
like,
cat out.
yeah, going through the top of your head, and it's almost like an explosion with fireworks, and and you just kind of go up to the top, and you're kind of just looking down.
I, I mean, I've had. I mean, I can say I've had similar. I've had a lot of weird experiences. Well, we ought to do an experience podcast one night.
Yeah,
I
like
don't.
this is the stuff that most people don't know about me because nobody's ever had given me in a conversation even talk about this.
Yeah, yeah. We'll cover that. We'll go into that. There is a quick weird warning that I want to throw out there. Because it seems like now I do have a lot of older viewers. Um, and like I said, there's a lot of people out there that like to sort of abuse the kindness of other people, and there's a lot of people that like to abuse the way certain people think. Um, in Japan, and of course, this had to do with the internet. September saw a scam of cosmic proportions in Japan. An 80-year-old woman on the island of Hokkaido, I think that's the one they built to deliver coal back in the war. Anyway, was defrauded after meeting a man on social media who pretended to be an astronaut. The scammer convinced her that his spaceship was under attack and he urgently needed cash to purchase oxygen. The woman sent him approximately 1 million yen. I'll throw that out there.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Wow. I mean, there's gullible people
there
everywhere.
are,
There's a
and
sucker born
but
every second.
there's also people who believe stuff for what it is, and there's people who believe stuff for face value, and and there's I've met a lot of people like that, and I look at them and I say, well, are you, and they tell me that this is the way they are, and that worries me. I mean, I know some.
Um, I was just watching something on Japan where they were saying like it's kind of taboo. It's worse to call out a problem than it is. You're just supposed to leave it there. I mean, and so like there's all kinds of weird stuff that happens. People don't like it, but they do it as part of their cultures. Like by calling attention to it, they're making something bigger than it should be, and so therefore they turn the blind eye to that. And plus, they're actually they have a lot of honor and integrity. My first business partner, her daughter was stationed in Japan. I don't remember. It wasn't Okinawa. It was the other one.
Right.
And she saw somebody get hit, and instead of just like running and doing a hit and run, like the people come together and the whole community stops what they're doing, goes to the aid of the individual that got hit, plus the person that hit the person, is sitting there apologizing, and like it's a big ordeal. Like if you don't stay if you don't stay at the scene of the crime and stuff like that, it's considered huge dishonor, and the person isn't going to get in as much trouble because the way their culture is, because it's about accountability.
Well, yeah. I mean, they have a lot of they're supposed to have a lot of honor, but Japan is one of those countries that is on what's called the population decline list, and
We're all on that.
well, yeah, but they're expected to be the very first one to no longer exist. No, I mean, and what not by no longer exist. I mean, Japan will still be there as long as it's there, but the people of Japan will not be there because they will be assimilated. They will be. There's a lot of foreigners that have basically taken over Japan and kind of made it their own. I mean, have you seen the stuff about the um
I've got smell-proof bags in there, and I put my
Um, no, but you got to realize we're all going to be the same color eventually, because as one population declines, they have to go to a different color of skin, and then eventually we all just kind of become one same color. And apparently because of us being a prison planet, each skin color comes from a different planet. The only ones that are native would be like either the Native Americans or the Indians,
well, I
because
mean,
they keep
most
saying the
the
brown people.
the Native Americans are basically being assimilated to some degree. I mean, they're not the way they used to be. I mean, I have a lot of Native friends, and it's not the way it used to be.
I'm,
They try to keep the bloodlines and stuff pure, and they try to keep it together. But I mean, it's radically fallen. I mean, uh, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, yeah, I don't know either. So, um, but wow, that was, dude. We went down a huge rabbit hole, didn't we?
Yeah, we went in a couple. I'm trying to figure out what we
Yeah.
can pick up at.
Well, we we started off on one topic and ended up a completely different topic
Okay, so anyway,
because we were back on Apophis when we got off on this one.
okay, well now, okay, Apophis, yeah, you try to get there. Okay, a lot of the missing scientists, a lot of the propulsion. Okay, yeah, a lot of the missing scientists, they have something to do with that. So I guess we'll jump to Amy Estridge, and this is the suppressed technology angle. Now, let's say that there is something coming. Let's say it's not Apophis. Let's say it's something else. Let's say there's something, you know, that humans need to do to stop a cataclysm. Now, this is where it gets. This is kind of where I at least wanted to get to tonight, because Amy Estridge sent this email before she died, and she claims, this is the woman that claimed to, that she works with her dad. She's the one that her dad's an ex NASA. She is the one that claimed that she was being targeted by not mind control weapons, but energy weapons and stuff like that. She showed pictures of her hands being red. She said that she wasn't suicidal or anything like that. And um, one of her live streams, she was drunk. I'm sure, that was whatever. She didn't do a lot of live streams. She did a lot of interviews, but she didn't do a lot of live streams. She did TED Talks. She did things like that. From what I can tell, she was kind of a normal person, except for the kind of stuff that she believed in. I did find some research papers, well, one research paper of where they were trying to get some funding, but it was kind of old. But everything else seems to be scrubbed. That was the topic here. A lot of these scientists and these researchers and stuff, since they passed away, their stuff gets scrubbed. I don't understand why. Well, okay, and here's where I find that similar and weird, because when something, when a person goes out here and commits a crime that is what is considered heinous by society, an assassination or a mass shooter incident or something like that, for some reason, every government, every social media, including X, is supposed to be more free speech than anything. Facebook, YouTube, everything. They will go in and they will make all of their accounts private and scrub them. Why do they do that? Why do they do that? I don't understand why. And we were talking the other day about how when people die, they memorialize their accounts and stuff. They'll do that, but these other people, they'll scrub their accounts.
Is it because well they say it's misinformation, of course, that way it's don't look over here, don't pay attention to the man behind the screen, but more than likely it may be information that they want to keep to themselves, kind of like I think Tesla would be kind of one of the first public cases where they want your stuff and they're just going to take it,
Like
and
I
if you
mean,
won't
like
give
like
it.
like I mean the coleallen guy. He was. We know he was very active on the internet. We know that he was a game developer. We know that. I mean, I found probably 50 websites that were linked to him. That had his activity, actions, his input on. I'm not talking about like YouTube. I'm talking about that he helped make, create, that he helped run. Um, and all these things are scrubbed. Every single one of them. So I mean, it doesn't make a lot of sense. And I mean, and if and from people who were like, I talk and I ask around, I read other stuff, and people who were on these other sites, who were on them for, like game reasons or whatever. These were not things that, he wasn't actively talking about this kind of stuff on there. So why would they scrub this? I just don't understand that kind of mindset. And I can understand if he posted like, a bunch of bad stuff on Facebook, But why did Facebook turn his profile off? They could have locked it. I don't know.
Well, I think you were also saying that there's a protocol when somebody dies as
Yeah,
well.
but I mean that protocol. But that's what I'm trying to say is when that protocol, when someone dies, they memorialize it. I mean, it's locked. I mean, you can lock it.
Yeah,
The family member can lock it. But the government, when something like this happens, like when this coleallen guy went in there and did this attempt, they scrubbed his entire accounts. They locked his accounts down. You can't find anything. I can't find nothing on this Henry guy except for the Twitter account now and a paper, an old paper from NASA that they can't delete because it has to be there because they have to use it. I mean, it's across multiple countries. And this Amy girl, I can't. I mean, she's been actively doing this for 30 years, and I mean hardcore. And TED Talks and stuff, and now I can find bits and pieces and stuff, and people, luckily had stuff recorded, but that stuff seems to be disappearing. I mean, I don't know. This is just trying to get rid of all this stuff.
In 2020, the government was given the back door to every piece of software, and that was why they were there was a big thing with Apple, because that was so that they could go in and send their misinformation bureau in there. Because remember the Twitter papers? So I mean, this could be part of that same program, and that might have been what they were really doing, while hiding under the guise and getting the publicity that they were just there to censor information over COVID.
Yeah. Now, like I said, this woman was working on electrogravitics. Basically what, if we were going to build our own human-made flying saucer, this is basically how it would run or operate. We think. They literally had these gravitational modified experiments. Now, like I said, they had this like big building and stuff, the Institute for Exotic Sciences. Now, I don't know the condition of that place, but I do know that there's not a lot of static coming out of there. So I'm watching it, but I don't expect anything. The thing I'm going after here is she released an email. I mean, she didn't release it. Her friend, she sent her friend a message that stated, "If I die by S, it will not be true." And in that same email, she said that they were talking about dinosaurs, and they were talking about time travel, and they were talking about a cataclysm that was supposed to happen in 2027. And her friend asked her how she knew that it was true, and she says, "Well, we have the technology to go and look and see." And she was describing it. She was going into detail about it, and then she has this whole long. I'm not going to read it here, but she has this 3-page email on how she describes the aliens. And it is probably one of the most concise descriptions and ideas behind this that I have heard. Some of it I don't agree with, but for the most part of it, it seems like it is, a possibility. And I mean, it does seem like it follows some of the Meyer stuff. So I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's really, really weird that this woman, and this is also one that was supposed to be a whistleblower, I think, this week. I mean, that she was supposed to go in front of Congress this week. I'm sorry.
But do you really think that this commission looking into it is I mean, come on, we're going to release the FC files. We're going to release it.
No,
We're
no.
just kidding.
Well, I
I
mean,
promise you, if I get elected, I'll release the Epstein files.
okay, I think this is probably one of the things that's going. This is probably one of the rabbit holes that's going to hurt us tonight. So, let's go ahead and put my seatbelt on. Okay, here's the thing when we talk about Congress. Congress, and excuse anyone's virgin ears out there, but Congress is a jizz fest. That is the best way I can explain it.
Say that again.
Congress is a jizz fest.
Okay.
All right. I mean, this.
Tell me something I don't know.
Okay. Put that in your head there. Anything you think's going to happen is not going to happen. Everything else that happens, it does. All right. That's the way it is. They send money to some of the most ridiculous things when they should be sending money to other things that will help us, or at least we think. See, that's the thing. We, as society and public, think, okay, well, like you, for example, you think, okay, well, Congress is seeing, set up things for the homeless and, provide them with money and everything else or whatever, some type of better programs and things that is not, being milked by, local and, there's something better, design something better. When, for some reason, something else is more important that they got to spend that money on. So,
could that just be a ruse? Like this is how they funnel money into the black budget.
Oh, I mean, they're funding a lot of money in the black budget. I mean, the U.S. What's that thing called? They shut it down. Just shut it down. The U.S.
USAID.
Yes, the amount of money that was being funneled out of that thing is insane. And I mean, some of it we knew about. I mean, some of it I knew about. I mean, I won't. I mean, it was brought up. We pointed it out. Look, this isn't real. There's no way in the world you're doing this. And they believed what was on the paper. And it took an administration like Trump's to come in and kind of like say, look, you guys need to stop doing what you're doing. And then they go and do their own thing. Of course, change the rules. That's the way it is. Always is. One political side does one thing, and another political side does another. You got to appease whatever group of people that you think that votes for you, and you got to make them think you're okay with it. I mean, we can get into how a lot of people are wrong about the Republican Party and how a lot of people are wrong about the Democratic Party. And there's so much stuff that modern day Democrats don't know about the Democratic Party. And when you sit down and try to tell them or explain this to them about who they really are, they just lose their bloody minds. I mean, I have lost friends, but yet I'm here and I have the receipts about it.
I have probably the most realistic understanding of what Congress really is than the average bear.
And I think as an American that you should understand that Congress is not your friend. You need to understand that. You really do need to understand that. I mean, and if it's hard for you to wrap your head around that Congress is really going to do anything for you, then I point you back to the time when they were spending billions on other things, but yet they didn't want to send everybody a stimulus check. And it took them so long to kick that can around that it should have showed you. I mean, just something that simple, something that easy for everybody to agree on. And I mean, each time that we've had a government shutdown right now, one side's try to blame one thing on the other, but, the Democrats literally held air traffic controllers ransom. They held our skies ransom to try to get their ways.
And what are the Republicans holding ransom now? Because I
it
believe
goes back
Johnny
and
Bravo when
forth.
he says that, hey, dude, don't pay attention. They're just gaslighting you.
It goes back and forth. That's what I'm trying to say is, but you got one that's doing one thing and one that's doing another, and you got one that's thinking that they're going to get an upper hand on the other side. It's quite normal. They think the stuff that happened here in Virginia. You have the redistricting, which now they say they won't. The people in Virginia say they won't agree with because, the Democrats basically lied about it. It's a mess and a half here. Um,
It's just
and
typical
now
gerrymandering
they won't
politics.
let them redistrict Louisiana, and they won't let them redistrict these other places. And everything the Democrats were trying to do that then the Republicans tried to do, they got up and said, "Oh no, you can't do that. That's wrong." And they were doing the same thing here in Virginia, and they were doing the same thing in that other state. But anyway, it didn't help them. It hurt them. It literally hurt them. I guarantee we will not have a Democratic president next go around.
I disagree.
Really?
I strongly disagree because Donald Trump has taken us to war in Iran. He has showed us through Marco Rubio's Freudian slip that Israel is the reason why we're in Iran, and we instead of leaving ourselves vulnerable, we figured we would go along with them. And all this stuff. And Donald Trump promised to end the war in Ukraine, but hasn't. And he keeps, funneling both sides while pretending to actually, actually do something about it. The his whole base is turning against him. People that were
Well,
hardcore Trump supporters are going like,
we're
dude, I don't
talking,
like this guy anymore.
but now when you're saying that, you're talking like, um, we're talking about Trump here. We're not talking about you know other individuals within the party. His base is not turning against the Republican Party. His base is turning against Trump. Trump is not running.
Yeah, but Mitch McConnell has turned a lot because my old man, because of Mitch McConnell and the whole Chinese thing, and then a couple other people getting it as well. My old man, he hates the Republican Party now, and there's a lot of people like him. He's retired Army. He fucking remembers when Clinton put a gag order on the whole military, and he had an aneurysm. Yeah, he expects something from his politicians, and he still loves Trump for some reason, but he absolutely hates the Republican Party because Donald Trump turned most of his supporters against the Republican Party.
I guess. I just don't see. You can't show me. You can't provide me with a adequate Democratic president that people will vote for. That not in the sense, there's going to be people who vote that go cottontail. Cottontail is basically anyone that votes for that party. But thank God, there are still people out there that vote from their hip, their heart or whatever.
I think that somebody like Andrew Yang is going to be a stronger candidate in the same way that what's his name was Ron Paul was like his second time around because he didn't do enough groundwork. The first, right after the primary for Ron Paul, I was getting all this literature. I was like, actually, I kind of like this guy. At first I didn't like him because I didn't know much about him, but then with that being said. I think that Andrew Yang, especially with the whole UBI thing and people seeing how much they're hurting and inflation's going out of control, he's going to have a very popular idea.
You're going to see what you're going to see in the next election. This is my prediction. This isn't by anything else or anyone else, but this is my prediction. In the next election, you're going to see the Democratic Party try to find a celebrity to run with.
God.
Yes, someone like
that'll destroy it.
someone like The Rock, and you will probably see The Rock. WWE, The Rock.
Yeah, I know who
Okay.
he is.
All right,
I just wouldn't have expected him to go that low.
He expressed an interest in it.
Oh, what a tool!
And then you'll probably see someone like the what's the one in California, the Democratic person everybody hates.
Schwarzenegger?
No, the one that's actually in. That's not.
Gavin Newsom, former.
Yeah, I expect to see either Gavin Newsom and the woman that ran for president this time work together. But if they have any brains against them, it's going to be one of those two and a celebrity, because celebrity is the way the population is going, because Trump is more considered a celebrity president than an actual paper president. So
He's looked at as a businessman.
yeah, but more people, like, I can go on the street, back in the day.
Well, yeah, that's true. He is entertainment.
I mean, you had him in WWE. I mean, the WWE is a foundational block for certain things like that. Like, I'm starting to see that, and I mean, not in the sense of good actors, but more in the sense of people who gather and inherit connections, because it's so widely watched.
I don't think the Democratic Party will take that hook. I mean, you'll have your like your cottontails, you'll have your extremists, because Kamala was about as extreme as they could get, even with that laugh.
Well, I mean, Obama himself said, if you put her there, you're not going to win against Trump.
Yeah, well, everybody knew that. I mean, she was about as retarded. No, I gotta say, she was about she was like 7 fries short of a 6 fry 6 fry meal.
But I think we will see her again. I think we will see her at least this next go around. I do think we will see her enter the race to some degree.
No,
I
I think
expect
you'll see Michelle Obama before you see Kamala.
Well, Michelle Obama, she, they tried to get her to do it, and she has. I mean, they literally tried to push her so hard. And I mean, there was literally a marital split between Obama and Michelle Obama. That they were literally talking about separation, and Obama was seen with some actor, I can't remember her name, but he was running around with her there for a bit, and yeah, she is a corrupt attorney general, but she doesn't want to run. She doesn't want to have anything to do with it.
Yeah, she's got too much dirt on her, most likely.
Yeah.
I mean, the Obamas and the C family, are hand in hand. I think that there's a little bit of feuding between them, but they're on the same page because they're both at the same level.
That
I really think that if you're going to see anything from the Democratic Party, somebody like Alyssa Slotkin from Michigan wouldn't be half bad.
I don't know.
Oh yeah. She's a former intelligence officer. She's one of the few people leading the fight against AI.
I don't like that. I do not like that. I don't like that at all. I mean,
why?
Well, I mean, that was the selling point of the lady that won the election here in Virginia. She was ex-CIA, top of her class and everything else, and she was against this and that and everything else, and boy, oh boy, there's a different story there.
The CIA's ran this country since Kennedy. They might as well be blatant about it.
Bartos says he thinks Chelsea Clinton would run.
Oh God, no.
I don't know.
No.
I don't know.
She'd get eaten alive just because of what her family's into and her mother's reputation, and then her father. I mean, yeah, no, she's doomed by. I mean,
No,
she ain't gonna bring back the Clinton years.
No. I mean, there has to be. Well, I mean, maybe if there is a, like a combination of, I expect to see, like, them try to roll out some kind of thing like the new generation is here, and you might see something like Chelsea Clinton, and you might see something like one of Trump's kids. They in line. They get in
His
line.
His daughter wasn't half bad.
Well, I know, that's what I'm saying. I mean, I could see something like that, and that would turn the political world on its ass. You know, I mean, that would be the power thing. You know, you have let's say you have Trump's girl, you know, running for president. You have Chelsea Clinton running as vice president, and there you go. You got both parties, both. You know, you just have this wild, you know, shakeup of everything. And I mean, maybe that's kind of what we need. Um, there's
I honestly, I think it's really going to be on issues. The main issues, and this is, I don't like Alyssa Slotkin because she's ex-CIA. That's just her credentials. Her big thing is AI should not be given autonomous authority to make unaliving decisions. You cannot take a human life without the intervention of a human being. And right now with AI, they're trying to get it where AI makes that decision based upon an algorithmic whatever. And that's what she's fighting against. So you're going to have the issue of AI and AI dangers, especially is like already 16% of the workforce is automated by AI. Most of your entry level jobs that these college kids would be taking is being automated by AI. This is the first generation that will not have a job when they get out of college after spending all that money. You've got all these things going, so you've got that you're going to be, which means people are going to be hurting financially, especially with inflation, especially with the dollar no longer being king dick on the planet. We're getting hammered, so some sort of basic income is going to be there. Now you have the Republicans that just want to go back and let's conquer the world, and and
okay.
pretend that we're virtuous,
I done a,
and
I
stuff
done a
like that.
thing. I don't know if I should have done it, but I done a thing. Um, I have the list of everybody who has registered for the 2028 president as a presidential candidate.
Uh-huh.
Um, you want to say hell with it and go down the list?
Can I got to ask you a question because I tried calling this out in the last election cycle. Nobody would listen to me.
Sure.
When you fill out those paperwork, you're supposed to do the president first and then the vice president second. At least that's the way I understand the documentation. So they had
You're talking about when you vote
no, when you go and you register with the elections commission and all that stuff and get on
to
the
be
ballot.
president.
Yes, you have to. Yeah, you because like when okay, so I got to see the paper. Nobody even like looked at this, and I was saying this like multiple times. So it said Biden for president was the campaign slogan. Okay, but Kamala was number one. Biden was number two, and this was in the 2020 election.
That's because there was a late filing. Now I mean there may have been something else, but
Oh,
the
I call
official
hogwash on that.
yeah, the official thing was there was a late filing and they had to fix that. I mean, technically they weren't even registered to vote in. I mean, they weren't even registered to run for president in a few of their own states they would have won, like officially. I mean,
Oh,
and
see,
they're
that's that right there. And people say that we can't talk about the 2020, but there was so much. I mean, we got to see something that's so blatant. It was like, here, we're gonna do it, and you can't do anything about it. It was like if you look at the history of the medieval peasant rebellions, the leader of the peasant rebellions generally gets taken out, and when he gets taken out, everybody else cowers, and then the elites go back to putting their boot on the throat of the peasant and reminding them who's in charge. I think that was the moment because. From what I've read, and this comes from Meyer in 2017, the elites got together and they said that they would use the next pandemic as a way to control the political and the economic system. So what do we see in 2020? And then in the Wall Street Journal, they came out and they were completely blatant about it. This is them reminding us who's in charge.
yeah. I personally think that everything's been was planned. You know, Now, when we talk about this, there are. I have everything broken down into. Um, we can either discuss the potential candidates, or we can discuss the ones that are actively registered.
Let's talk the ones that are actively registered because potential that's hearsay at this point until
Yeah,
they file.
I agree because I mean they even have as public figures they're even considering Steve Bannon and Donald Trump Jr. I mean, um,
Really?
yeah.
Bannon wouldn't. Bannon might take the MAGA crowd, but the MAGA crowd's turning against Trump, so Bannon lost his opportunity.
I don't. I mean, maybe. I mean, Bannon's a weird man. I mean, he's got some weird pull. I think he's got some voodoo going on. Um,
He's an old school pirate oligarch.
yeah. Okay, the first one on our list, and I don't make this public statement. You know, some of these names are, um, I blame y'all's mamas, and your daddies. Y'all got some weird names, so I may mess them up. And you know, if you perhaps do become president, don't come and get me, okay? Anyway, all right. First one is Aaron Avoris, Avouris. He is running independently. I don't know who he is.
Okay, we probably won't.
Um, mm, Apparently, he owns or partially owns Walgreens.
Hmm.
That's interesting. AC told me he is from the One Earth Party.
One Earth Party.
Ain't that part of the thing we were talking about the other night?
No, it's Project Venus.
Yeah, but I thought there was a. Wait a minute. What is the One Earth Party? One
One
Earth
Earth
is a
Party is
scientifically
probably
driven left-of-center environmental nonprofit focused on solving climate crisis by three peers: energy transition, nature conservation, and regenerative architecture. This is right up there with the Project Venus.
Are you familiar with the Aspen Institute and its origin history, its origin story?
I'm not sure.
Yeah, I've looked into this because once I found out what digital literacy was, it scared the living daylights out of me. It doesn't mean what most people think it means. It's a redefined term, kind of like legalese. And the Aspen Institute was spun out of the Second World War because they wanted to figure out a way to never have a war again. So what they did is they actually wrote a global constitution for the world, and they've never really put it out. But over time, they got so much political influence that they actually write all of our school books that we have and dictate all of the education in which we put out in this country. Okay, so something like that, the One World Party, is probably something that's being spun up, and it will be a lot like what the Aspen Institute did post World War II, but it'll probably gain more prominence afterwards. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. Okay. Now, and I mean, we're gonna really go into those weeds soon. I got a thing on it, and I stopped where we were at, and I want to talk about, you know, the Project Venus, and I think we should, you know, I think somebody, you know, should be us. I guess it doesn't matter. Someone should have a reasonable, logical conversation about these groups and these parties and how they're affecting our political system, and how they're shaping stuff, and what extremes they may go through to do that. That's the parts I'm worried about, because Germany at some point did the same thing, and we saw how that went. Um, the Now the one, as you know, as we're talking here, I'm checking the names on this list, and the next one is Adam Alaweed. Now, you probably never heard of him.
No.
He is an independent, but
Okay.
I'm looking at his Facebook page right here, and he says, I am His Royal Highness Prince Adam bin Alawi, the eldest son of Saudi Arabia. How is that even possible?
I once met a Mexican mafia kid that was next in line to be a general. They wanted him to be American so that he could cross the border without issues and not get deported and still keep their presence.
Well, I know, but I mean, I thought you had to be, in order to run for president.
You have to be born or naturalized, and he was naturalized through the immigration process.
I mean, I mean, and I mean, I'm looking at this guy's
And the
back.
fact he can have dual citizenship means he never has to relinquish his throne.
Okay, I mean, he's got like Islamic stuff in his background. I mean, this is the kind of stuff that you're kind of wondering. I mean, how can you like knock this in to the presidential elections? I mean, this guy literally looks like freaking ISIS.
You know what? You and I should register. You can be president. I'll be your VP.
I mean, I was going to register Charlie at one point. I was. I mean, and officially, Charlie, this would be the second time Charlie's ran for president. Charlie has ran for president back in '40s. He
Who?
my puppet, the puppet.
Oh, okay.
There's
Oh, really?
Yeah, I mean, there's literally a whole campaign thing. I mean, I literally already have all the campaign material from back then. I mean, he even had a slogan. He's like, what was it? Uh, might as well vote for a dummy because the all the politicians are dummies anyway. I mean, and he's got all these like cool little catchphrases and things and slogans and shit and yeah, there was there was people like us back in the day, man. Um, the
I mean,
next
it just sounds like all the candidates right now are jokes. These are foreign operatives, and the fact that we're allowing foreign operatives shows the erosion of our borders through in our political system. Even
Now the next one is, I'm sure he's going to use that. His nickname is the Big Donkey.
big.
Adam Dunn. He's a Major League Baseball slugger. Um,
Okay, and what's his politics?
he's Republican.
Oh God! So he thinks all homeless are drug addicts and basket
Well, that don't mean
cases.
he thinks they're all drug addicts or anything. I mean, you
All
got
the
you're lopping them.
Republican politicians think that way.
I know,
I've
but
met
I
with them
mean,
and
but
talked
you,
with
you
them.
get back into the thing. And here's a libertarian party, which I hope we don't need one of those.
Who's
Adam
that?
Adam Reiki.
What is he like? Indian?
Uh, no, he's a bald-headed white man. He is an associate professor of musical theory in the University of North Carolina. All right,
Oh God!
dude, keep dreaming. All right, the next one is Andrenly Oceline. She or he, we'll find out what she is. Candidate, Republican Party, and Canada overview. I don't. Now that would be your Indian right there.
Huh?
Indian Republican.
Oh no, dude.
Yeah.
We've got enough gas stations. We don't need any more.
Okay.
Yeah.
Another Kennedy was going to run.
Which one?
It says a Kennedy, so I'm guessing it's Anthony Kennedy. Uh, Kennedy, the former U.S. Supreme Court Associate Justice, known for the influential opinions on gay rights and other
Oh
constitutional issues.
God, no. Uh-uh. No. What party?
It's Democrat.
Oh God, even worse.
Um,
No.
Alan Thomas is the next one, American Independent Party.
Huh.
Um, and he is a guitarist and composer. You know, the problem is that another thing I think. Don't you have to have so many people like vote you in?
You got to have so many signatures. And
Now,
just to kind of give you a little bit of my background, when I was in college, I actually became a petitioner, and I was so good at it that they wanted to send me to the state houses and become a lobbyist within like my first month and a half of working with them. Only reason why I didn't is because my future wife, told me I want a man home by like 5 o'clock, and you won't be if you go do that. So I gave up that opportunity, but that's kind of why I'm where my astuteness in politics comes from, is because of that point in my life.
yeah, I got to answer a question in chat. Hey man,
Hmm.
I'm sorry that we can't play the music and stuff. Um, but YouTube hits me every time I play that music. Uh, they Facebook gets me. I haven't figured a way around it. I don't know why they won't let me use it.
Do you have the license for it, or is it your own?
Well, I mean, we made a version that was our own, but it's still technically copyright law has got messed up, man. I mean, it's a losing battle when it comes to that song. I mean, it is.
Uh, did you make at least a 30% change to it?
Mm, yeah, I mean, I even got a version that my son made. I don't get it. Anyway, the next one on the list is an independent. That is Alexander Wachacha. Wachacha.
Uh-huh.
And that would be a football guy, a cornerback. Not even a, yeah, you won't win. All right. Alex
Bad
Cohen,
player too.
huh?
Was he a bad player too?
It looks like it.
Yeah.
The other one is another Democratic Party, Cohen's, and that is another actor. I mean, well, not an actor, but a um, performer, I guess you want to call it. Performing arts. There seems to be a bunch of those. Um,
Hmm. Liberalists.
yeah,
Yeah.
liberalists, but they're going under the banner of different, like Democratic and Republican here. It seems like. Al Alberson Ramos.
Hmm.
What does that sound familiar for? Yeah, that's just not somebody that. I think we're going to go down the list and see the ones we actually recognize. Alan Mekadez, I don't know them. Amanda Catherine Elliskinson, Democratic Party. Amanda Thompson, American Independent Party. If you want me to look up one of these, just let me know. Andrew McCoy, unaffiliated.
Okay, I'm interested in that one just
Yeah.
because I'm curious. Unaffiliated means they're probably tired of the political system too.
Okay. Well, this is the one. Andrew McCoy was a Pennsylvania Republican and one of the fake electors who took part of the Kenneth plot to submit fraudulent certificates in the favoring the 2020 presidential candidate Donald Trump rather than the true winner, supposedly of Biden. I'm not sure what this is. Anyway, the plot failed, and the Vice President Mike Pence refused to certify the fraudulent states. So,
Oh, okay. So he was one of the delegates that came through.
yeah, yeah, he's one of the
Oh,
delegates. Yeah,
okay. So he's a Trumpian.
yeah, I think so.
If he was part of the alternate delegate, he's a Trumpian.
Okay, then we got well, who did I say that was again?
Oh no, it's the unaffiliated.
Okay, the Ramos. Okay, I mean McNeil. Okay, we got Andrew Dennis, Andrew Gusteau, Andrew Gooch, Andrew. I mean, there's a bunch of them here. Andrew Chung, Andrew Street, Angela Dower, Angela Glass, Angela Peer.
What did they do? Just start going in the phone books?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, hey,
Eva
we just got the
Parkinson.
A's. We've registered them all.
You know,
Fucking yeah,
another
no.
Kennedy.
How many? We got, what is this? 2026. We got two. We won't see any serious candidates till next year.
I know, but see, this is. I mean, this is one. These are people who've actually registered and spent money. Hold on a minute.
Yeah, and they're not. I bet you. I bet you it's a hustle because you raise all that money and then you don't get
I mean,
any
these are people
votes,
who
and so therefore
registered.
you get to keep whatever's left over.
You
Da da
know,
da da, and this is how they get rich.
yeah, yeah. I think all
I
it is
think
a
that
money making thing.
this is just their Ponzi scheme, and I think that you've got some people that have that are either smart to it or that are associated with certain people that they're funneling money back to them.
I mean, I'm just going down and scanning the list see if there's anything that jumps out. But I mean, realistically here, I don't see how half of these would even be even considered. I don't even see how they got registered. And there's a
Yeah, but hey,
lot.
if we want to get rich, hey, this would be a quick way. We can get a couple $1 million in donations and be like, yeah, the campaign didn't work. Thanks for the donations.
True, true.
I mean, hey, we can go and we can go to Bill Gates and all them and get some nice little donations, and then once we fleece the top 1%, we just say we're done.
But the ones they're thinking that might okay public figures. We're looking at Mark Cuban. Um,
Mark Cuban, hell no.
yeah, okay. Um, actual politicians that might get it would be Greg Abbott. Uh,
Oh
this
hell no. That guy, I know more about that guy than I want to know. And
yeah,
no,
Katie
that guy,
Britt.
huh?
Katie Britt. She's a U.S. senator in Alabama.
Hmm.
Doug Burgum. He is the Secretary of Interior. Tom Cotton. He is the U.S. senator for Arkansas. Spencer
Hell no.
Spencer Cox. He's the governor of Utah. Ted Cruz.
Oh
Um,
God, Ted Cruz might actually be a front runner just because him and Donald Trump made up after the 2016 election.
yeah. Well, no. Yes. Some of the music, the other music, is my originals. Some of it I was able to use. You might be referring to the other music. Okay. I don't know. Let me check. I just got rid of him. Let's see. And then we got Ron DeSantis. How you feel about Ron DeSantis being? Um.
Fucking mini me? Hell no. Do you know
Yeah.
what he did in Florida? Do you know all the fuckery he's done in Florida? Nobody wants to talk about it. The reason why everybody's moving to Florida is because he said, we're not going to force people to get the jab. Okay, great. Then everybody flocked there. But if you understand, he is more of a dictator than Donald Trump. Oh, no, 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 no. Like, I will help and actively campaign against him if he ever becomes a front runner.
Mm.
Yeah.
Oh.
Because basically he's forcing all of the homeless into camps. And if you know what happens in these homeless camps, that is more dangerous than sleeping on a street corner, surrounded by axe murderers.
Mm.
Yeah, because the gangs run them. The staff looks the other way because they got to work with the gangs in order to be able to do the services that they do. The cops might only show up when there's a call. There's so much drugs and all kinds of other shit that goes on there. And yeah, this is why in Gainesville they had to shut the Dignity Village down because they were starting to find mass graves.
Yeah. But yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Barto. Some of the other music is mine, but I still had problems with it. I mean, like the music, like one of the songs I was using for this last stream. Every time that they would mute part of it on Facebook, and I don't know why. I haven't figured out that. I mean, maybe I'm not in the system for some of my older stuff. I don't know, but I'm working on it. I'm trying. But anyway, yeah, I agree. That would be a very, very bad guy to have in there. Um,
Yeah, he is not a good guy.
um, we got Tulsi Gabbard. Yeah. Uh,
Tulsi Gabbard's a turncoat, and that's her reputation too.
Matt Gees, whatever you call him, the other one from Florida. Um,
Um, Matt Gates.
yeah,
Oh
Gaetz.
God, no. He yeah, no. He's another Trumpian.
Now here's one I'm wondering that actually might try running. She has like ostracized herself from the Republican Party, or from Trump at least.
Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Yes.
You know what? I have high hopes for her, but I think, okay. When I was in Cave Springs, I one of the ladies that was on the trail board is also one of the county commissioners, and her brother-in-law was one of the other county commissioners, and so I got to stay with him, and he got to show me a lot of stuff, and he talks about how he got to deal with Raphael Warnock versus dealing with MTG, and yeah, and he even told me about like how she actually got her money. They was her husband's business, and when she got divorced from him after kind of running it into the ground to begin with, she got that in the divorce, and then just continued to run it in the ground. So yeah, she's really not that great.
I do think her rhetoric is in part responsible for the reason the Guidestones got blown up.
Really?
Yeah, I do.
I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, that one. I mean, she says some good stuff, and she means well, but she's not all there. If they haven't diagnosed her with bipolar, she looks and acts like
I mean,
somebody
now
that
that's now
is bipolar.
we're not talking about it tonight, but she does lean real hard in that QAnon stuff. Um,
Yeah, but yeah, that's you'd expect that from somebody who's bipolar, because yeah, I'm just as somebody like I when I had my two houses, one of the ladies was sent to me by the shelter, and she told me she was clean and sober. Turns out she'd been clean and sober for 10 days. She held my house hostage. I had to go through a full-on eviction. After that, I could walk by somebody and smell bipolar on them.
yeah.
And like when I see when yeah, bipolar is like one of those. When they're in their manic state, they can be so destructive. And so I avoid people like that to give me the signs. It's like a second, like a sixth sense that I picked up over time. And she reeks of bipolar. So her being in QAnon sounds about right.
Yeah, like when she first started. I mean, I was like fully against her. I was like, this woman's crazy. And then like, midway through, when she was still in line with Trump, I mean, I'm like, hey, you changed a little bit, and there's something different about you.
She
And
reshaped her message.
yeah, I mean, there's actually a few times where I actually got on X a few times, and I mean, literally said some horrible shit to her on her ex, and I probably shouldn't have, but I did. I
Mm.
mean, but and then I apologized. I mean, like I said, I was like wrong about you, but I mean, I still think she's bad shit. I can't
Yeah.
help it. I mean, that's it, too. The next one is Nikki Haley.
Nikki Haley, she's a nice girl. No, she didn't she wasn't she the one that ran in Arizona?
She is, but I mean, she's another one of those crazy grippy sock girls. So I don't know about all that.
She was also a pilot too, a military pilot, wasn't she?
Hmm.
Or was that the other one?
No, I think Nikki. I think she
No,
was.
no, I'm
Wait a
thinking.
minute. I'll look. Hold
Yeah,
on. I will look and check because I do think she was a pilot.
yeah, and she, because I know there was a girl from Hawaii, but she was a Democrat who left the Democratic Party. I like her, but I think she got brought into the Trump administration and she became a turncoat.
Now. Well, the Nikki Haley, she was running, and then she was rerunning again, and she actually, there was a phone call. She recorded. She was like very open about it. Um,
I
where
remember that.
where they were trying to either buy her off or threaten her. I mean,
Yeah, she
yeah,
talked about it publicly.
yeah. So I mean, I had like some respect for her for that. Early career, she was FCR Corporation, Waste Management and Recycling. I mean, that's like a mobster kind of thing. Orange County, Lexington Chamber of Commerce, become treasurer, raise funds for a local hospital. It's pretty, no pilot stuff. I don't know. Pretty much,
No, yeah, no, I know. I think it was the girl from Hawaii, and she's the national security advisor, or was for a while. She's very pretty though. I remember that. She's the one with the gray streak in her hair.
I don't know. She's probably on this list or one of the other ones. The next one is Josh Holloway.
He's kind of an unknown. He might just depends upon what kind of voting dirt they pull up on him. Because like I said, this is gonna be about economics and just like I said, AI and its intrusion on the job market and people being able to survive inflation and with homelessness on the rise, even though they've cooked the numbers this year.
I think Bernie
That
Sanders might actually have a chance this time if he wanted to go.
Bernie Sanders, honestly, I would vote for him. If it was, I would have loved to have seen a Bernie Sanders Ron Paul ticket, and I think they would have won.
I mean, I actually think that he has an opportunity to run, but I mean, he is slowly knocking that with the videos he's making.
Well, have you seen all of his AI videos, especially with the
Yes, I
bots?
have, and they are some of the most bizarre things I have watched.
He gets on a tangent, never finishes where he starts because he's too busy digging deeper into
Yeah,
one subject.
yeah. I mean,
But yeah, he's actually pretty. I would say he- he's going to be more sympathetic towards the people than anyone else. And I think honestly, if you're looking for a kind ruler that will unite the country and heal some wounds, I think that he's the guy that can do it.
yeah,
And even
she's
if you
on the
brought Rand
Democrat. We ain't got
Paul,
over there yet. The woman that you're talking about is Tulsi. Tulsi,
Tulsi Gabbard, yes,
yeah. Chat was saying, but she says she's a or used to be a Democrat or she's DNI.
yeah.
But yeah, that's we haven't got to the Democrat side yet or Democratic affiliations or so. I mean, we're still on the actual Republican leaning candidates or whatever you want to call them now. Robert F. Kennedy.
Robert Kennedy, yeah, he's got a lot of good memes going on. I love his stuff. Like he knows how to insult somebody. Or no, wait, I'm thinking of Ted Kennedy.
Yeah, you're thinking Ted Kennedy. I'm talking about the one with
RFK?
the voice.
Oh, okay, yeah, RFK, the heroin overdose. Honestly, after his BS with autism and some other things, like I think that
He's not getting it.
I think he's got an axe to grind and an ideology and he doesn't care about facts.
I do, and I mean, I don't see him ever winning a presidential whatever. I just don't see it.
Yeah,
It's not
no.
going to happen. Christy Nolan,
Kristi Noem, former governor of North Dakota.
security.
Yeah, but no, she
Okay.
wouldn't. She might have some traction just because of her political reputation, but nah.
What about Rand Paul?
Oh, dude, Rand Paul, like he's my favorite Republican.
Mike Pence?
Fuck no. Especially after being in Indiana. Hell, fuck no.
But he is our vice president, or used to be vice president.
Yeah, and he was a choice to gain a vote, not to actually do anything.
Okay, Mike
He was just a tool.
Pompeo.
Who?
Mike Pompeo, Pompo.
Mike Pompeo?
Yeah,
Oh
Pompeo.
hell no. No. He's got so much dirt that if he tries, they will. Um, yeah, because of him being a CIA director and even in the Trump administration. No, he's basically the puppet master for the CIA, as far as I understand. So
Now,
no,
now, now, now,
definitely
now,
not.
now, now we're at somebody on the list that I actually wanted to see win, that ran at least partially through, and he realized that he just didn't have it, and that was
Hmm.
Ramaswamy.
No.
He had some
No,
power behind
you
him.
might as well just say, "Hey, India, do you want to rule America?"
I know, but he had some. He had some. His business sense was what I liked about him. He had
Great.
some.
Put
Yeah.
him in, put him in an economics role. Don't put him in
I,
charge.
I, I mean, I thought they were
He's
going
not one of
to.
us.
I actually thought they were going to, and it's like he just fell off the radar. But
Well,
apparently, but
after what happened with the FBI with Bongino and the other guy, man, those guys are sweating bullets and showed how incompetent they truly were.
uh,
I think that they were put in the right position at the right, or put in that position rightfully, because to be in any other leadership, they would have been way more destructive than what they were in that small role.
okay, Marco Rubio.
Rubio?
Yeah.
Oh hell no, he's a turncoat.
Okay.
He's a Cuban loyalist. There's a lot of rumors out there about um, about how the whole thing in Venezuela was orchestrated by him because he fought
It
after.
don't matter about that. We're Trump said that on the way back from Iran, we're gonna stop by Cuba and take it. I mean, literally, that's what he said. He said it like yesterday.
Yeah, I bet he was saying that just to piss off Rubio.
No, he
No, because
I don't think he was, man. Honestly, I don't think he was. I think
yeah,
he was serious when he said it. He was joking. He was talking about his gardener, of all things. And he said that he had this Cuban gardener that had a Hispanic influence that was real good, and he was talking about Cuba. And he's like, well, I'm just going to take one of our big aircraft carriers and park it over there, and tell them, give up or we're going to come in. And I mean, Cuba is like on its last leg. I mean, yeah,
mm, but they were the ones that did best after the fall of the Soviet Union.
yeah.
But you got to also realize that Rubio, when he was trying to do the talks between Russia and Ukraine, he screwed it up so much that the Russian guy told him, "Don't you ever send that incompetent fool to me ever again." And that's why for a long time he wasn't allowed in any meetings.
Okay, Sarah Huckabee Sanders.
Oh hell no, she's as bad as her father.
Okay, Tim Scott.
I've met him.
Really?
I've met him in person. And when I asked him why are we going to war when it has no interest for us, and he's like, "Some people just like war." That
Um,
was his response.
Elsie Stanford, the one from New York. I don't know how to pronounce her name. And then
Don't
there,
know her.
and then there's J.D. Vance, of course.
Oh God, no! Please, no, no. We've already had enough JD Vance.
And then we got Glenn Youngkin from Virginia, the former governor of Virginia. I honestly think that he did a lot of good stuff when he was in office, and I mean, he could do. I mean, he. I think that his attitude toward things, and like when they put a bill in front of him, even if it was a Republican or Democrat, he really sat there and thought about it. It seemed like, and he listened to people. I mean, like you could call up to the governor's office and like leave a message for the man, and I don't know. I just like Glenn. I did. I like
You know
Glenn.
what? We need a government like that again. That's what it used to be 100 years ago. You could walk right up to the White House and have a conversation with the
Yeah, I
president.
mean, and
He
I mean,
wasn't
and
as
I mean, people would
popular as he
call
is
you
now.
back. I mean, Virginia's real good about, or used to be real good about that. Like, I mean, even like during like the Three Eye Atlas thing, I was one of the few people. There was the other scientist and another one. Anyway, we were all, everyone was debating about if it was a good idea to use a satellite that was in Jupiter to retask it to take pictures of that thing. And I wrote this like huge paper, and I called them and I sent the paper to my congressional whatever, like the way you're supposed to. And they called me back. They thanked me for it, and they told me if I had any more ideas or anything like that, that please feel free to reach out and talk to them. And I got a little spooked by it, but I mean, the it got to where it needed to go, and maybe one or two people heard about it, so maybe more. I don't know, but um, our government does work to some degree. There's just a lot of deaf ears,
Yeah.
you know.
Okay.
Now on
Can
the
we?
huh?
Oh, I was just wondering. I know it's getting close to 11, and I do got to get up a little bit early. I want to at least finish the Democrat side, and then I'm gonna have to tap out.
That's fine. That's fine. I'm going to do the same afterward. We're at the 2:20 mark. But we'll run down the Democrat list real quick. Andy Beshear, Governor of Kentucky.
Oh
Uh,
God, hell no. Then
okay.
definitely hell no.
Cory Book.
He made it basically illegal to be homeless. Yeah, for a Democrat, he's going against his own party.
Okay, Cory Booker.
Oh no, that dude is what was that dude that was on CNN that got in all those scandals? The black dude. He's a lot like him.
Well, you talking about the one that like was caught with the prostitute and cocaine and stuff?
Yeah, he was also the one that was in on that church thing with the anti-ICE protests.
Oh yeah. Okay. Well, they kind of gravitate to where they get money at. Um, Peter. That's a weird name. There's a person with this last name that cannot run for any kind of presidency. Petterbuttigieg.
Oh, Peter Buttigieg. Yeah,
Buddha, yeah.
yeah. He is him and Andrew Yang um were yeah. Buttigieg is an idiot.
Oh, yeah.
And that was proven when he was like something to do with the way our infrastructure is done. I forget what department was. He was the one that started talking about how the freeways were what actually caused segregation and all that other shit. That was him.
Really?
Yes.
The screwed up idea coming out of that party. Roy Cooper,
Don't know him.
former governor of North Carolina. Jason Crow, U.S.
Don't know him.
Representative, Colorado. That's one of the pro pop people, but they kind of like anyway. Andrew Kumi. Yeah, Kumi.
I've heard the name, but don't know much about him.
It's not that. I mean, that's the one. Okay, wait. No, he's former governor. So that ain't the one that I'm thinking of. Okay. Rahm Emanuel, former mayor of Chicago. I don't know.
Oh God, Rob Emanuel.
Yeah, Emanuel.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he was also I think he was what was his name for the Republican Party? He did the same thing. They used to go against each other all the time. God, I can't remember his name. Basically, he was the political advisor, hatchet man, kind of like
For Obama?
the dude. Yeah, but he was for Obama. But him and what was the guy that was for Bush? That used to do it, fat bald guy. Kind of had a horseshoe hair. I can't remember his name, but yeah, they were basically one and the same. Rahm Emanuel is the reason why he's the one that says never let a crisis go to waste.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's well.
He destroyed Chicago.
It said he was pro-Israel though.
Oh God. Well, yeah, of course. That's where his money's coming from.
Okay. John Fetterman.
Fetterman, come on, after a stroke. I mean, yeah, the guy had a change of heart and decided to be a human being instead of a tool of the party. But it would be like having Joe Biden in there, but with a little bit more functionality.
Rubio Gallagher,
Don't
you,
know him.
Senator for Arizona. Um,
Hmm.
Christian Gillibrand.
Heard the name, don't know much.
Josh Green,
Don't know him.
Hawaii.
Hmm.
Michelle Grissom, New Mexico. And our favorite person, Kamala Harris.
Uh, Kamala.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, they spent more of her campaign trying to tell you how to pronounce her name than actually what she was for.
They wasted an insane amount of money with her.
Well, yeah, because it was a joke. They thought that they could go in there and screw with it, but the American people were so pissed off that there wasn't an amount, there was no amount of fraud that you could commit that would have been able to not get Donald Trump elected. I mean, he took he took something. Wow. Like you could tell the mood of the country. We wanted to go back to the way it was under the Trump administration, and now anybody who voted for him is now regretting it because it was all the nightmares that we were told his first presidency was
But
supposed
but
to
I
be.
mean but I mean what do you I mean honestly I don't understand it. I mean what were they expecting though? What were they I mean what's going on now with
Uh,
Iran, with everything else? This is basically what I envisioned.
oh, yeah, well, like I keep saying, he's just like Nixon. Okay, Nixon was pissed off because he lost the 60 election to Kennedy for sweating on TV because that was the first time any debate had been televised, and it was such a big deal that him sweating made him look like he was weak. And so therefore it played against him and he held a grudge the whole time. And then in 68 when he was elected, he brought some advisors, especially some of these Green New Dealers, and they betrayed him to where he even had a greater animosity. And then with Watergate, that made it even worse. And he was so he had abused so much power for so long, and he was so sour because he got caught and he had to pay the consequence that for the rest of his life, he was a sour man. That's why if you ever say, hey, he was a son of a bitch, everybody knows that you're talking about Nixon. Donald Trump is just as sour as Nixon was
But
after
but but but
Watergate.
but, but what I'm saying though is on both elections, both times he run and both times he won, or the times he run and won, the time he didn't win. What I know is when he was elected, I mean I knew what I was getting. I knew what was coming. I knew what to expect. But when Biden won, I had no idea what to expect. I mean, and I definitely didn't get what I thought was going to happen. Um,
Oh, come on. You knew what you were getting just because of the whole I
no,
told them that they'd lose $1 billion, and look
no,
what
no,
happened.
no, no. I
The
didn't.
Burisma
I
scandal.
mean, because see, Biden. Here's the thing about Biden. Um, that you can write a book on Biden's literal flip floppery.
Uh-huh.
When it comes to how he was in Congress and how he was when he was president and how he was when he was vice president. So I'm just saying is there
He
is
hasn't.
yeah, go ahead. I mean, like I said, Biden is this bizarre when it comes to. I had no idea what we were getting.
He had no integrity. I mean, I think that's probably why Obama didn't like him because he's like, yeah, this dude will turn on you in a second if it benefits you. He's like Wassel the Weasel, man. He'll sell you down the river, steal you back, and sell you again.
Now we got Marina Healy.
Huh? No, don't know her.
Yeah. Okay, Mark Kelly.
I've heard the name.
I did too. Roe Canal from California.
Oh God, no,
Amy
nothing from California.
Amy Kobluker. and then there's Wes Moore, Chris Murphy, Phil Murphy, Gavin Newsom, of course. That's the one I think that's going to definitely run for the Democratic ticket. That's going to go up there. And there is one I hope I don't see. There is Alexander Cortez.
You know what? She's not half bad. I mean, she's at least honest about where she stands. And she's been willing to admit that she's wrong. And yeah, she kind of had her people turn against her because she got rich and forgot about him. But at the end of the day, she's kind of like the MTG of the Democratic Party, but just a tiny bit more sane. She's got some emotional issues, probably even some daddy issues. But, for the most part, I think I think she means better than Marjorie Taylor Greene, and she actually has a little bit better head on her shoulders. Because if you listen to the questions she asks, they're not from some dumb ditzy bimbo.
I'm not 100% sure about that. There's some yeah, no.
Is Yang on this list?
Hold on a minute. I am checking one backup real quick. There is who?
Andrew Yang.
No.
He'll probably be towards the bottom of the list.
No, he's not on the list. We're close to the bottom. You got John Alsop. I have no idea how to pronounce the last name. Jared Polis. No, Colorado. J.B. Perkin. There's Bernie Sanders.
Well, hey, at least we got Sanders coming in. He's going to run every year, though.
Yeah. You got Josh Shapiro.
I've heard of him. He's an up and coming. He's kind of like a future golden boy. They have lots of hope and hope for him.
Yeah, I don't have hope. I don't have hope for any of these. Alyssa Slotkin from Michigan.
That's the one I've been talking about. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I could see her. She's at least anti AI in the sense of it making important decisions for us. She believes that AI could be used as a tool, but it does require some sort of human decision making, because we should not put our decisions in the hands of a computer. And I think in the age of AI, that is probably one of the most. If you got to vote on any issue, that's why I like that. That's why I like her. I even subscribe to her channel and watch some of the stuff she says. That's why I know what I know about her, because she I don't know. You should watch her and come to your own opinion. But I think that for the Democratic Party, her she's probably a top candidate. If AI becomes as disruptive, within the liberal sectors, it's taking their jobs, so they're going to be more on the AI issue than let's say a Republican will.
Oh, I'm sure of it, but I mean, we need, but you might I want to make a little disclaimer right in here that these lists, these are people who are registered and who's paid the money, who's got the backing to be this. Now, as the process goes on, if you're not familiar with it, they'll weed them out, and then the last ones are usually the ones that either one move on to become president against whoever, or they become vice president to whoever else is running that's not on the list yet. And like I said, I believe we're going to get a celebrity, and I think we'll get a celebrity on both sides. I think this is our list of either the president or the vice president, and dependable on their power, and that's probably what we're going to get. We're going to see celebrity against celebrity for president, and we're going to see politician against politician for vice president.
What kind of celebrity though? Because I mean, you've got celebrities of different types. You've got social media celebrities like, there's the when Gavin Newsom went through his upteenth recall, and they actually held an election. Everybody loves Kevin or something like that. He does an economics and accounting channel. Like he would be a celebrity. I mean, he's got a Google
Yeah,
Play button.
anyone that is possible that can be put in that category of celebrity.
Well, hey, you and I could be it then. Hey, one of us should. You want to run Democrat? I'll run Republican. Or you want to run Republican? I can run Democrat. And we'll be the we'll be the the celebrity versus celebrity.
Well, I mean, I always thought there should be, like we were talking about earlier. We was talking about the kids. Like, you have Chelsea Clinton, and you have Trump. One of Trump's kids, and you put them together, and I think I
They're
personally,
too young.
I know, but I'm just saying is I personally think that our political system should be like that. I think that you know the vice president and the Democrat, I mean the vice president and the president, you know, they should be opposing. That way they can argue in office against the topics.
It,
I know you wouldn't.
it
Most,
used to be that way.
yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying. But now it's not. And I mean, and that's something I think we need to look at. Um. Okay. Josh Stein, Richie Torres, Chris Von Holland, Tim Watts.
I've heard the name.
No, wait a minute. No, Tim Watts has got to be out. He's the one what?
Waltz.
Yeah, he's the one behind all that fraud and stuff.
Yeah, no, he ain't gonna get anything for that.
Yeah. He's definitely not going to get president for that.
Yeah.
Raphael Warnock and
Warnock.
Yeah.
No, that dude is about as corrupt as they come.
And Gretchen Whitmire.
Gretchen Whitmer,
Yeah.
the former governor of Michigan. I
Mhm.
mean, come on, look at what she did during the cough cough. Oh, hell no. That's a dictator in chief right there. You want to call Donald Trump a dictator in chief? He's a Boy Scout compared to her.
And I don't know. I'm wondering. Was for sure there would be a thing. Celebrity fans think should run for president. Okay, wait a minute. What do you feel about Morgan Freeman being president?
Why don't we elect Bill Cosby while we're at it?
Well, I'm just throwing it out there. I mean, he done has the experience. I mean, technically, I mean,
Yes, of being the narration voice, he's not.
well, no, he was
He may have wisdom and age, but he's too old.
no. Freeman has portrayed the president in multiple films, including Deep Impact in 1998, Angel Has Fallen in 2019.
I'm running for president because I've played one.
That's right. And
I mean, what's that one with Robin Williams where he accidentally gets elected president?
oh God, what was that? I know what you're talking about. I just can't remember it.
Yeah. I mean, come on, we don't need to be a laughing joke of the world.
Well, I mean, it depends on how you look at it. What about Tom Hanks?
No, these are actors, and these actors are in La La Land. We don't want their politics, but yet now we want to elect them president.
What
No,
they're
come
they're
on.
they're the and that's the point I'm trying to make. But these are people who could possibly be in the celebrity seat.
They're too-
I know.
No,
Yeah, I know.
Why don't we just bring Jimmy Kimmel in while we're at it?
I mean, we might, and then we go to Dwayne Johnson, The Rock,
America's gonna be a joke if they do that shit.
Oprah Winfrey.
Oh, even no, anybody but Oprah. I mean, nobody. We're not gonna give everybody a car. We can't afford it.
Clint Eastwood.
Clint Eastwood. You know what? Clint Eastwood would actually be a reasonable one. He's about the only sane one out there.
I mean, he actually he in 1986 he won He was elected the mayor of Carmel by the Sea in California. As a small wealthy population of 4,000 residents. And he
Yeah.
was one of the ones that voiced his disapproval of Trump. I mean, I'm not saying. And then there's plenty of others. You have Denzel Washington, Dolly Parton, Gary.
Denzel Washington's intelligent, at least.
Yeah, Mike Rowe, Terry Crews, Chuck Norris was even thinking about running until he died.
The Dirty Jobs guy wouldn't be half bad.
That'd be cool. Samuel L. Jackson. At some point,
hell no.
at some point,
fuck.
people even thought about throwing Harrison Ford in there, but he's just too old. They're even talking about trying to push Bill Gates in there.
Oh God, you don't want fucking. No,
I
not
know
Bill
you
Gates.
don't. I'm just saying this is the thought process behind people. You're going to get a celebrity, whether you like it or not. They're just going to happen. I mean, you're going to. I mean, it's just going to happen. Jon Stewart, Neil, the guy's Tyson, Robert Downey Jr., Tim Allen of all people. Well, no, Tim Allen did. Judge Judy.
Oh my God, Judge Judy would actually be kind of cool. She's still. She reminds me of my grandma.
Paul Rudd, Matthew McConaughey, Bill Nye the Science Guy, James Earl Jones, Leonardo DiCaprio.
Is he still alive?
I don't know. He's on this list. I mean, this list hasn't been updated. These are the ones they said that they have an interest in running. I think the list was made a year ago or something. Will Smith.
Oh, I thought he was gone a long time ago.
I don't know. Which one? James Earl Jones.
James Earl Jones. Like he should be like 90 years old by now.
Well, yeah, a few of them are. Yeah, he did die, didn't he? Yeah,
Someone old enough to die while in office, so the VP can take over.
Okay, yeah. And the other one was Will Smith.
No, not after what he did. No, Will Smith doesn't. Yeah, you would have thought he was good until he did what he did at the awards and slapping Chris Rock, and then he was made to look like a punk, anyways.
But anyway, because you gotta go to sleep and stuff, and probably don't need to kill your battery, and we've been on here for about 3 hours. We will pick this up tomorrow, and I think we're just gonna keep running with it. I mean, we'll eventually get through whatever we're getting through. All right. Good night, and sleep tight, everybody, and stay paranoid. We will see you guys tomorrow. I might be on early, but hopefully Tuck will be on with me tomorrow night.